Hi, and welcome back to Alex Talking. I'm Alex, your horror hound, and I'm talking about Halloween Horror Nights today. I usually am talking about movies, and this is movie adjacent for sure. But if this is your first time visiting us over here, hi, my name's Alex, and I like to get stoned and talk about horror things, and that's what I'm going to be doing today because I just kind of talk like it's a podcast. I wish I could edit visuals onto this, and my fiance is going to help me soon. Just the crushing weight of being in 7 college classes, working a job, constantly seeing movies because you want to, and trying to manage other things makes it difficult to pick up the editing aspect of this. But to anyone who does watch this for my just conversational style video, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. And let me know what you thought if you went to Halloween Horror Nights down in the comments. Which houses were your favorites? I thought this was probably the best year, if not definitely the best year of the 5 years that I have been, the last 5 years. This definitely has my favorite house of all time, which will be number one, obviously. And, sometimes comparisons to Thief of Joy, but I'm just ranking them today because that's the order that makes it easiest for me to talk about them. And I'm going to start right at number 10, Five Nights at Freddy's. I actually really thought this was cool because the FNAF animatronics looked awesome. They looked just like they should, like right out of the movie is what I was going to say, but I guess right out of the video game. I just know it from a movie that admittedly I don't really care for all that much, although I am going to be the first AC for my fiance, who's the director of photography on Five Nights at Freddy's fan film, or short film, I should say, because um, we are being produced. It's an exciting thing. We're doing that up in Detroit in December, and I'm really looking forward to that. And otherwise, this was only really my second experience with Five Nights at Freddy's, or third, I guess. My second would have been the movie, which I just watched on Peacock. I didn't even go to theaters to see it, and I regret that. I was just enjoying like Halloween weekend with my girlfriend. We watched it and we both really did not enjoy it. And that's all I really remember it as, being that movie. But my first experience was my friend Khalil had a FNAF onesie that he wore when I beat him in a Super Smash Brothers tournament. And then he came to high school dressed in that because he has no shame. And more than anything, was going to self impose that punishment. And that was awesome. Yeah, there's no kills in this one. Like, I don't really get scared in these houses. I just think, whoa, look at that. That's cool. Um, and this one only really had the costumes in terms of that. Like, it wasn't like, whoa, look, they recreated this thing I love. Because I just don't know it. There's only so many times that a cupcake jumping out at me can make me go, ooh, wow. Um, that being said, yeah, if you like Five Nights at Freddy's, I imagine this would kick ass. Because I don't, and I still thought it was very cool. Coming in at 9, El Artista, A Spanish Haunting. I would group the bottom four all together as being very close in terms of just, those were very solid houses. 6s out of 10s. Movies I rate out of 5. Haunted houses out of 10. If you got a problem with that, you got to take it up with the president, I guess. But, like, that fucker don't answer for me. Anyways, yeah, this was also just a solid one. Had the house, or it was in the house that The Exorcist Believer was in, which up until this year's number one probably was my favorite house of all of them. As funny as that is, I know people don't like that movie, but it had a phenomenal haunted house. Um, and the same table as The Exorcist. That's kind of what I remember it for. The scares in themselves actually weren't all that interesting, to be 100% honest. Um, so I don't really remember them. it was the I did it midway through the first day I went, and then the second day, it was the first one we did. We got it done at the beginning, and I guess that's why I don't remember it. But it was just kind of, you know, a standard one. Coming in at 8, Graves of Flesh. Now let's talk about first night to second night experience. The first night I went, this was the first one we did. I thought that was cool. A little disappointed because I thought it was going to be great, and it was just solid. Second night, we got a shift change right before we went in there. They were changing out the cast, and then nobody jumped out at us throughout the whole thing. So we kind of just walked through it. And having known what it was like mid the night before, because it's all about if you're on the wavelength of the house too. You know, if nothing's jumping out at you, even if you don't get scared, then it's just a house you're walking through that smells like fake smog. So that can be annoying. This one, nothing wrong with it. It's just that nothing jumped out at me the second time. So it's just going to be at the bottom of this list by default because I just thought it was cool. It was a very solid house with some very, very cool creatures. When they do come out, they were super cool. Number 7, Dolls. Let's Play Dead. I thought this was very solid. Chucky was great a few years ago when they did it, and I'm sure if they did Annabelle and they edited it with a big Annabelle like in Conjuring 4, that would be just great too. Dolls Play Dead, very solid one. Some good kills in here, some good gore, and some silly little creepy dolls. Number 6 is Fallout, and this is where they get really quite good. Now, Fallout was not scary per se in any way, shape, or form, because this is not even a horror property. But it had cool shit. It had a giant robot in it. It had Walton Goggins guy. Yeah, man, that shit's cool enough for me. Just seeing like an iguana on a stick, you know, a guy offering me teeth. I don't really know Fallout other than the show. Once again, I don't. I've watched my friend play the games. I played Fallout New Vegas. I played Fallout 76. One of them was good. One of them was awful. You can guess. And overall, I don't really like have any sort of attachment to the brand other than I thought the show was quite good. And I thought this was a really solid, fun little, hey, look at that from the show house, even if it wasn't scary. It was very cool, like a 7 out of 10. Moving on to the 8s, and you know, we're at 5 and we're at 8. It was a good year. It was a really good year. WWE Horrors of the Wyatt 6. This is for Bray Wyatt in memoriam of him, the wrestler who passed away last year, who had a very cool persona as the Fiend. And they made a haunted house out of it, and it was just a WWE haunted house with these characters. And towards the end, it got much more into a storyline relating to the Wyatt Swamp, and you know, maybe had a little Sister Abigail sprinkle in there. Alexa Bliss even showed up for a second. But you also get lockers that say like Randy Orton and Johnny Gargano on it, which was pretty cool. I just thought that was an interesting flavor, backstage massacre type beat, and really quite enjoyed the house. I thought it was super cool and super unique, kind of like the Weeknd's house from a few years ago. Excuse me. The Weeknd had a house, like the musician, and it was really cool. And this felt like that. Like, what if we just took this weird, unique thing, put a horror spin on it, and made it really cool for the people that it appeals to? And it appealed to me. I thought it was very cool. Coming in number 4, Gulkin, Monsters of the North. This one was badass. This was like a 9 out of 10. Like, I think that these are some of the coolest houses they've done in my time going. The top 4. And Gulkin is like a Nordic one. Like, Banshees, maybe is the word I'm looking for. You know, like soul-sucking witch ghosts type shit. And it was very cool. It was very cool. Had some good wolves, some good creatures. Crazy dead bodies. Boy, thinking of the greatest dead bodies, it's the top 4 we got going here. And this one was really good. Really, really cool. And yeah, it had such a unique theme and vibe going to it that it was kind of like when they did Yeti Campground Kills a few years ago, and it's like, oh, yeah, how is that one not going to be great? And it was. It was very cool. Number 3, Jason Universe. And this one exceeded my expectations because I admittedly don't know how to feel about the Jason Universe brand because of all this lawsuit business with the Friday the 13th property, which is admittedly my favorite horror series, but it is just so difficult to get anything Jason related these days because of the ongoing legal disputes. And I thought that this would just be Jason in name, but not be able to reference any part of the series. But no, Mama Voorhees was there. They had different versions of Jason. They had a part 6 with a chain around his neck. They had Baghead Voorhees there. Great jump scares. The second night, especially, they were just jumping out at me every single step. I knew Jason was coming. It's just a lot of Jasons. They don't recreate anything from the movie, really, but that's okay. That was okay because Jason looked great. Absolutely fantastic. And there were some very good kills in there as well. Number 2, the best original house of the year is easily Hatchet and Chain, Demon Bounty Hunters. This one was just like a Wild West cowboy type one. Dead horses, dead people, people being put into fireplaces, crazy shit going on here. With crazy, like, monsters and demon bounty hunters. It does what it says on the tin, and it does it excellently so. And that's one of the coolest and most unique original houses they've done. And it was just so well realized. This one, as well as Jason, were both very long too. Like, you know, sometimes it's like, hey, that was a solid haunted house, but it was quick. They both were like very, very lengthy, beefy, and full of great stuff. Very good scares. But number 1 in the best Halloween Horror Nights house I've ever seen. You know what? Let's go Stillers. I can't believe I'm not wearing my Terrifier shirt, though, because I have 2 Terrifier shirts. I just got a Halloween Horror Nights shirt. I should be wearing one of those. I'm just wearing a Stiller shirt because I was just watching the Stillers game. But, back to the main attraction, the Terrifier house. Our 10 out of 10 this year. The best Halloween Horror Nights house I've ever done. Had the dick and balls kill from part 3. Had the chainsaw and the vagina kill from the first one. Even had the bed kill. The creme de la creme from the second one. Excuse me, needed a drink of water. It was amazing. I'm a huge Terrifier fan. Didn't even like the first one when I first saw it. I appreciated the press. Saw people at Fantastic Fest saying good things about it. And really thought Damien Leone was cool. So I took my friend, drug my freshman year roommate to go see Terrifier 2 when it came out. And I was like, that's the Citizen Kane and Killer Clown movies. That was awesome. I thought it was so much better than the first one. And then the third one, I went to Fantastic Fest for the premiere. That's how much I liked the second one. Like, that was my main motivation to want to go, because I wanted to be there for the Terrifier 3 premiere. And I think Terrifier 3 has almost grown on me to almost be better than Terrifier 2 for me, just because it's such a lean, mean killing machine. It's a mean movie. It's only 2 hours as compared to the 2.5 hour runtime of the second one. I love these movies. That's all to say. I've become a huge fan of them. I love that I go into Spirit Halloween and I see Art the Clown everywhere, because I know the guy who makes them is actually a pretty cool dude. Not a sicko like some people think. He's just a really cool dude. And to see it at my favorite horror event of the year, Halloween Horror Nights, and it was so cool. It fit the theme so perfectly. All the Art the Clowns looked fantastic. There was one just free roaming throughout the park. He went to the Club Horror and he became the DJ for a second there and danced. That was really fun. It's so cool to just see the utmost, for me as someone who goes to this event every year, defining thing of, yep, Art the Clown is the modern horror icon. He is that guy, pal. He is so fun, so awesome, and just such a cool character. And I enjoyed seeing him there just as much as I enjoyed seeing Jason. And the fact that Jason and Friday the 13th is my favorite horror franchise, and the fact that Terrifier, my favorite modern one, for sure, it is right there with it. It's like, yeah, how could this not be the best Halloween Horror Nights year for me, ever? Because it was fantastic. I absolutely loved it, and thought all the houses were just super, super unique, inspired, and well done. Great gore, great kills, ooey gooey stuff that I love to just sneak a touch of, or go through the Terrifier bloodline where you just get sprayed with water going down the blood path. It's just water, but it was like, hey, they haven't done this before. That was fun. So I had a great time there. On a side note, I went to Epic Universe. That was badass too. couldn't give a shit about the Harry Potter part and thought that the dragon world was cool, but only spent about 20 minutes there. I wish there was more dragons, like a dragon petting zoo or something. But then I went to Mario World and Universal Monsters Dark Universe World, and they were both amazing. Like the two coolest theme park worlds I've been to, right there with like Disney Sea in Japan. So shout out that Mario World, Epic Universe, absolutely awesome. Let me know what you think of any of these things down in the comments, and thank you for watching. Have a great day. God bless.